I would wake up in the middle of the night and I would see that my mom had her hands laid on my feet and she was crying. There were many times I would overhear my mom in the middle of the night, praying, and she would speak in Igbo, but the translation in English is, God, use him, use him. Don't let him fall. Don't let him. So my mom would just, so one day I remember, I don't forget this picture in my head. That day, my mom cooked ogbono soup. And then I was asking her questions. So I told her, I remember making a joke of the prayer. I said that she has never asked God to do any other thing for me. All that she keeps asking God is, God, use me, God, use me, God, use me, God, use me. So, and she said clearly to me, she said, there is nothing else you will do in this life that will work, only to do the work of God. So you can imagine I go to church and that my pastor's wife would speak her own, even though it wasn't personal to me. It wasn't like I was a disciple. She just spoke generally from the platform. We come back home. My mom will, continue. She would just speak about God. She prayed. My mom literally prayed me into encounters. My mom literally showed me, yes, she prayed me into encounters. So because when I was asking to hear the voice of God, I remember my mom joining me and telling me that we're going to pray. Now, before I heard God, the week I heard God, my mom had asked me and her to go on a fast. Now, all these things I'm telling you, Pastor Mark, I was just between the ages of, I'm talking about being between the ages of 9, 10, 11. So you can imagine all of that, pushing and all of that. So I literally didn't have a childhood. All I just had was just getting there, my mom pushing me into God, and all of that. So right at home, she spoke so much about God. She spoke about my assignment. She spoke about what God wanted me to do. She spoke about, my mom, it was so bad that my mom would not have me play with other children. We lived on the streets. I mean, we were poor, so we lived in the, like what you call, I don't know, it doesn't qualify to be a slum, but something that looked like a slum. So we lived in the streets, and all of that. So my mom would not, if I'm playing with other children, my mom, how I know that my mom has arrived is when other children start running. So when they start running, so I was never lucky. So because by the time I tried to run, my mom would catch me. My mom would just start beating me. She would just hit me and she would tell me, what you are doing is not what God told me. What you're doing is not what God, she will speak it in vernacular. What you're doing is not what God told me and all of that. So she literally, my mom saw what God was. You can imagine at the time, my mom was saying, you are a voice to nations. That God told her that I will carry the gospel from one nation to another nation. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Yes.
In this slum.
Yes, in the slum.
My God.
Yes. And even when I went to school, eventually when a kind couple I met in church